projects in 3 simple steps. See the exact system professionals use, now accessible to beginners. Discover the measurement trick that saved.
When I tell you to act as if you are the best, I'm not speaking of arrogance or comparison with others. I'm speaking of recognizing and embodying your divine nature. For you are God's own image and likeness made manifest in flesh.
80.
Many of you come to these lectures believing that others are better than you,
going east.
more talented than you, more deserving than you. But I tell you this, such beliefs are nothing but assumed imitations. And like all assumptions, they can be changed in a single moment of understanding. Consider this: when scripture says, I am that I am, it's revealing the fundamental truth of your being. You are not becoming the best, you are the best. Your only task is to recognize and assume this truth until it becomes your living reality. Let me share with you what I mean by acting as if you are the best. It's not about competing with others or proving your superiority. It's about assuming the state of being the person you desire to be, knowing that no one can prevent you from expressing your highest conception of yourself. When you truly grasp that consciousness is the only reality, you understand that your concept of self determines everything you experience. If you assume others are better than you, the universe must conform to provide experiences that confirm this assumption. If you assume you are the best, the universe must, and I emphasize must, reorganize itself to reflect this assumption back to you. Here's a profound truth that few understand. Your present concept of self, the one you feel than others, is the one I'm asking you to adopt. You learn to assume this through experience. Changing this assumption requires a complete. You must begin to live from the assumption that you are the best, not through comparison with others, but through the recognition of your divine nature. For when I say you are the best, I'm speaking of your true identity as pure consciousness. Let me share with you what happens in consciousness when you truly assume you are the best. First, all sense of competition falls away. When you know you are the best, you don't need to prove it to anyone. You don't need to diminish others to elevate yourself. You simply are, and that knowing is enough. Many of you make the mistake of trying to become the best and struggle. But I tell you this, you cannot become what you already are. Your task is not to become the best, but to recognize and assume that you already are the best. This is what scripture means when it says, be still and know that I am God. Consider this: everything you're experiencing now, every limitation, every feeling of being less than others, is the harvested fruit of your past assumptions. The universe has been faithfully reflecting back to you what you have assumed about yourself. If you've assumed others are better, the universe has provided evidence to support this assumption. But here's the liberating truth. You can change this pattern in a single moment by assuming a new concept self. When you assume you are the best, the universe has no choice but to rearrange itself to reflect this new assumption. This is law, and the law never fails. Let me tell you something about assuming you are the best. It has nothing to do with ego or pride. It's about recognizing your divine nature and allowing it to express through you. When you truly assume this state, you naturally want others to recognize and express their divine nature as well. You love your neighbor as yourself. When you truly recognize your own divine nature, you automatically get others. In others, you don't need to compete with them, because you understand that their success doesn't diminish your own greatness. Expressing your divine nature means living from the assumption that you are the best version of yourself right now, in this moment. Not tomorrow, not when circumstances change, but now. For in consciousness, where all creation takes place, there is no waiting, no becoming, there is only being. Let me share with you a principle that many find difficult to accept. Your current circumstances have no power to prevent you from assuming you are the best. Your bank account, your education, your background, your past failures, none of these can stop you from assuming a new concept of self. They are merely shadows of past assumptions. Many of you say, but Neville, how can I assume I'm the best when others are more qualified, more successful, more experienced? I tell you this, these comparisons exist only in your imagination. And if they exist in your imagination, they can be revised in your imagination. For imagination creates reality. Consider this. Every great individual who ever lived first assumed their greatness before it became visible to others. They didn't wait for circumstances to make them great. They assumed their greatness, and circumstances had to conform to their assumption. This is the law. When you truly assume you are the best, something remarkable happens in consciousness. All sense of strain, all need to prove yourself, all feel to move through life with a confidence that the best. It's not about being better than others. It's about being the concept of yourself. When you assume this state, you naturally inspire others to rise to their best as well. For when one rises, all rise. Here's a profound truth about assuming you are the best. The universe cannot give you less than what you assume for yourself. If you assume mediocrity, the universe must provide experiences of mediocrity. If you assume excellence, the universe must provide experiences of excellence. Assuming excellence means occupying the state of being excellent in your mission until it becomes your dominant feeling. Not just during meditation or visualization, but in every moment of your daily life. Your every thought, your every action, your every reaction must spring from this new assumption. Let me share with you what happens when you truly assume you are the best. Your walk changes, your talk changes, your posture changes, not through conscious effort, but as a natural expression of your new self-concept. The universe must then reshape itself to match this new expression. Many of you make the mistake of trying to act confident while maintaining an inner feeling of inadequacy. But I tell you this, the universe responds not to your outer actions, but to your inner feeling tone. You must feel your excellence in the very depths of your being. Consider this, right now in this very moment, there are infinite states of consciousness.
When you get traumatized, what happens is a 100 hertz wave travels from the thalamus and phosphorates what's called the
Consciousness available to you. The state of being best already exists, complete and perfect. Your task is not to create this state, but to occupy it through your assumption. When you assume you are the best, you stop seeking approval from others. You stop comparing yourself to others. You stop making excuses for why you can't succeed. These exist in the consciousness of one who truly knows their own excellence. Let me tell you something crucial about maintaining this. The world of Caesar will present you with evidence that seems to contradict your assumption. All circumstances, all relationships, all patterns will persist for a time. This is law. Here's the secret. These circumstances have no power except the power you give them through your reaction. If you maintain your assumption of being the best despite contrary evidence, that very evidence must change to match your assumption. Handling contrary evidence is where most people falter in their assumption of being the best. When circumstances seem to deny your assumption, when others doubt you, when results don't immediately appear, this is when you must stand most firmly in your conviction. Let me share with you a principle that has proven itself countless times. The outer world will continue to reflect your old concept of self for a time. This is not a denial of your emotion. It is an opportunity to strengthen it. Every circumstance that seems to deny your excellence is actually an opportunity to prove your assumption. Many of you abandon your assumption of being the best at the first sign of failure or criticism. But I tell you this, those very failures, those very criticisms, when met with unwavering assumption of your excellence, become the building blocks of your success. For what you persist in assuming must become your reality. Consider this. When you truly know you are the best, failure becomes impossible. You may face temporary setbacks, but from you naturally, without effort, without strain, without trying to convince others. It becomes as natural as breathing. Let me share with you what I mean by radiating excellence. When you wake in the morning, before you even open your eyes, feel the naturalness of being the best. Not with excitement or enthusiasm, but with the quiet certainty of knowing who you really are. This feeling should be as natural as knowing your own name. Many of you try to radiate excellence through outer actions, through your excellence radiates from within. It's not something you are. The outer manifestations will follow naturally when your inner assumption is secure. Consider this. Everything in your world right now is a reflection of your past radiation. If you've been radiating doubt, uncertainty, or feelings of inadequacy, the universe has faithfully reflected these back to you. The universe can only reflect what you radiate from within. When you truly radiate excellence, something remarkable happens. Others begin to recognize and respond to it. Not because you're trying to impress them, but because they can't help but respond to the conviction you carry within. This is why Scripture says, let your light so shine before men. Let me tell you something vital about radiating excellence. It must be consistent. You cannot radiate excellence for an hour and then return to radiating doubt and limitation. The universe responds to your predominant radiation, not to your occasional moments of feeling confident. Here's a profound truth about radiation. It affects everything in your world. When you truly radiate excellence, every person you meet, every circumstance you encounter must adjust itself to match your radiation. This is law, and the law never fails. Your radiation affects your world in ways that your logical mind could never conceive. When you consistently radiate the feeling of being the best, the entire universe must, and I emphasize must, rearrange itself to reflect this radiation back to you in the form of corresponding circumstances, events, and relationships. Let me share with you what appear. Circumstances that appeared limiting begin to transform. Not because you're manipulating the outer world, but because your radiation is creating a new world. Many of you ask how long it will take for your world to reflect your new radiation. But I tell you this, time is not a factor in consciousness. The moment you achieve a complete conviction of being the best, the entire universe begins its reorganization. The time it takes for this to become visible depends solely on the intensity of your conviction. Consider this right now in this very moment. There are infinite versions of you existing simultaneously. There's a version where you're struggling, a version where you're succeeding, a version where you're the absolute best in your field. Your radiation determines which version you experience. When you truly understand this, you stop trying to compete with others. You realize that your only competition is with your previous concept of self. The only person you need to be better than is who you were yesterday. And this improvement comes not through strain or effort, but through assuming a higher concept of self. Let me tell you something about this radiation of excellence. It must become your natural state. Just as you don't think about breathing, you shouldn't have to think about being the best. It should be your default state, your natural way of being in the world.
Why you should never wrap your credit card in tin foil. I've worked at a big corporation bank for 12 years. Yesterday, I watched another elderly couple lose their life-saving.
Here's a profound truth about maintaining this radiation. You don't maintain it by affirming it or by trying to convince others. You maintain it by living from it, by making it so much a part of your consciousness that you can't conceive of being any other way. Living from the state of being the best means making it your constant dwelling place in consciousness. Just as you naturally live in your physical home without constantly reminding yourself that it's your home, you must naturally live in the consciousness of being the best without constant mental effort. Let me share with you what happens when you truly live from this state. Your decisions change, your choices change, your responses to challenges change, not because you're trying to act differently, but because these new behaviors are the natural expression of your new state of consciousness. Many of you try to live from this state for a few hours or days, then slip back into your old patterns of thinking. But I tell you this, you must make a complete and permanent move into this new state. You must burn the bridges to your old concept of self. There can be no going back, no visiting your old limitations. Consider this, every great achievement in human history came from someone who dared to live from the state of being the best. They didn't wait until circumstances confirmed their greatness. They assumed their greatness first. And circumstances had no choice but to conform to their assumption. When you truly live from the state of being the best, criticism cannot touch you, not because you've become immune to it, but because you're living in a state where criticism is irrelevant. Just as a king doesn't defend his right to the throne, You don't defend your excellence, you simply live from it. Let me tell you something vital about living from this state. It requires no effort once you're truly established in it. Just as it requires no effort to be who you currently believe yourself to be, it requires no effort to be the best once you fully assume that state. Here's a profound truth about living from the state of being the best. It transforms not just your future, but your past as well. When you fully occupy the state, you begin to see how every past experience, even the seemingly negative ones, contributed to your excellence. Many of you believe that being the best means constantly striving, constantly pushing, constantly competing. But I tell you, naturally from that state without strain or effort. Consider this right now. You're living from some concept of self. This concept might be that you're average, that others are better, that you need to struggle to succeed. And the universe has faithfully reflected this concept back to you. But I tell you this, you can shift to a new concept of self in a single moment of understanding. When you truly grasp that being the best is your natural state, your divine inheritance, something remarkable happens. All the energy you've been using to compete, to prove yourself, to overcome limitations becomes available for creative expression. You stop, simply allow yourself to being the best. It's not about superiority over others. Potential. About being the best version of yourself. When you truly occupy this state, you naturally want others to recognize and express their excellence as well. Here's a profound truth about living as the best. It's the most natural thing in the world once you understand your true identity. You are God's own imagination made manifest. How could you be anything less than the best? Any limitation you experience is simply a limitation you've accepted in imagination. Accepting your true identity as the best version of yourself requires a complete revision of everything you've believed about who you are. You must understand that your current concept of self, with all its limitations and doubts, is just as much an assumed state as the one I'm asking you to adopt. Let me share with you what happens when you fully accept your true identity. First, all sense of unworthiness falls away. You stop questioning whether you deserve success, whether you're good enough, whether you can achieve your goals. You know with absolute certainty that excellence is your natural state. Many of you have lived so long with a limited concept of self that being the best seems like an impossible dream. But I tell you this, that very feeling of impossibility is itself an assumption. And like all assumptions, it can be changed in a single moment through the power of your wonderful human imagination. Consider this. Every limitation you now accept, every feeling of being less than the best, is nothing more than a habit of consciousness. And habits, no matter how long established, can be changed through persistent assumption of a new state. This is law, and the law never fails. When you truly accept your identity as the best, your entire world must reshape itself to match this new self-concept. People who once intimidated you will find themselves responding to your new radiation. Circumstances that seem beyond your reach will naturally align themselves with your new assumption. Let me tell you something vital about maintaining this new identity. You don't maintain it through willpower or positive thinking. You maintain it through understanding. Once you truly understand that being the best is your natural state, you can no more doubt it than you can doubt your own existence. Here's a profound truth about your true identity. It's not something you need to create or achieve. It already exists, complete and perfect, waiting for you to step into it through assumption. Your only task is to accept it, to occupy it, to live from it. Many of you fluctuate between being excellent and feeling inadequate, depending on external circumstances. But I tell you this, such fluctuation is impossible when you truly occupy the state of being the best. Just as a king doesn't stop being a king during challenges, you don't stop being excellent when facing obstacles. Consider this, every experience you encounter is simply an opportunity to express your excellence. Even apparent failures become opportunities to demonstrate your unshakable conviction in your own greatness. For when you live from the state of being the best, failure becomes impossible. When you truly live from this identity, something remarkable happens to your relationship with time. You stop waiting to become excellent in the future and start expressing excellence now. For in consciousness, where all creation takes place, there is no waiting, no becoming, there is only being. Let me tell you something crucial about maintaining this.
What are these things that we're doing right now that are really just stop eating for a little while? Like some people have gone an entire 12 hours, their whole life not eating. Allow your body to go into recycle mode, and when you go a day, 2.
In this state, the world will test your conviction. It must, for this is law. Old circumstances, old relationships, old patterns of failure will persist for a time. But these are not obstacles to your assumption, they are opportunities to strengthen it. Here's a profound truth about living from your true identity. It requires no effort once you're established in it. Just as you don't need effort to be who you currently believe yourself to be. You need no effort to be the best once you've fully accepted this as your true identity. Uncovering your natural excellence is like removing layers of dust from a perfect mirror. The brilliance was always there. It was merely covered by accumulated beliefs in limitation, doubt, and unworthiness. As you remove these false beliefs, your natural excellence shines forth with ever-increasing clarity. Let me share with you what happens when these layers of limitation begin to fall away. First, you stop seeking validation from others. You stop needing external confirmation of your excellence. You know who you are with such certainty that no external opinion can shake your conviction. Many of you have accumulated so many layers of limiting beliefs that your natural excellence seems like a distant dream. But I tell you this, these limitations are no more permanent than dust on a mirror. They can be wiped away in an instant through the power of your assumption. Consider this, every limiting belief you now hold, every doubt about your excellence, every fear of inadequacy was learned. And what can be learned can be unlearned. Your task is not to create excellence, but to remove the barriers to its expression. When you truly begin this process of uncovering your excellence, something remarkable happens to your entire worldview. You start to see that every circumstance, every relationship, every experience has been serving to reveal your true nature. Even your apparent failures have been leading you to this recognition. Let me tell you something crucial about this uncovering process. It happens not through effort, but through understanding. The moment you truly understand that excellence is your natural state, the layers of limitation begin to fall away of their kin. Here's a profound truth about uncovering your excellence. The process is instantaneous in consciousness, but may appear gradual in manifestation. The moment you fully accept your true identity, the entire universe begins its reorganization to reflect this truth. The time it takes for this to become visible depends solely on the completeness of your acceptance. The process of accepting your natural excellence requires a complete revision of your self-concept. You must be willing to release every belief, every idea, every concept that contradicts your true identity as the best. This is not something you do gradually. It must be absolute and complete. Let me share with you what happens when this acceptance becomes total. First, all internal conflict ceases. The battle between who you think you should be and who you think you are ends completely. There is only the quiet certainty of knowing your true identity as the best. Many of you try to accept your excellence while still holding on to doubts and limitations. But I tell you this, such partial acceptance is no acceptance at all. You cannot serve two masters. You cannot live from the state of being the best while maintaining a backup identity of limitation. Consider this. Your current concept of self, with all its limitations and doubts, is just as much an assumed state as the one I'm asking you to adopt. The only difference is that you've practiced your current concept longer. But time is no factor in consciousness. A new state, fully accepted, becomes just as natural as any long-held belief. When you truly accept your excellence without reservation, something remarkable happens to your entire experience. What once seemed like competition becomes irrelevant. It seemed like limitations become launching pads for greater expression. Let me tell you something vital about this acceptance. It must be unconditional. You can accept your excellence only when circumstances support it. You must maintain this acceptance regardless of external conditions, knowing that conditions must conform to your consciousness, not the other way around. Here's a profound truth about complete acceptance. It transforms not just your future, but your past as well. When you fully accept this, you begin to see how every past experience, even the seemingly negative ones, was perfectly designed to lead you to this recognition. Consider for a moment those times in your life when you felt lost, uncertain, not knowing which path to take or what action to pursue. Perhaps you're in such a situation right now. The world around you may seem chaotic, options may appear limited, and the future uncertain. But I say unto you, in these very moments of apparent confusion and indecision lies your greatest opportunity for growth and manifestation. But what is this that you must do when you don't know what to do? It is not a matter of external action or logical analysis. It is a state of consciousness, a shift in your very being that aligns you with the creative power of the universe. It is about recognizing that the answer, the guidance, the path forward is already within you, waiting imagined into being. Let us delve deeper into this profound truth. Your outer world, every experience you have, every circumstance you encounter, is nothing more than a reflection of your inner world, your consciousness. It is a mirror faithfully reflecting back to you the sum total of your beliefs, assumptions, and most importantly, your imaginal acts. When you understand this, truly understand it, you realize that by carefully choosing and vividly imagining a desired state, even in the face of uncertainty, you are actively creating a new reality that will unfold in your experience. This understanding is crucial, for it shifts the entire paradigm of how you approach moments of uncertainty. No longer are you a helpless being at the mercy of external circumstances, desperately seeking guidance from the outside world. You become the active creator of your reality, knowing that as you imagine and feel a desired state, the universe must rearrange itself to match this new inner assumption, providing the guidance and clarity you seek. But how, you may ask, can one tap into this inner wisdom when the outer world seems so chaotic and uncertain? The answer lies in the creative power of your wonderful human imagination, combined with the intensity of your feeling and belief. For your imagination is not a mere fantasy maker, and your feelings are not mere reactions to external stimuli. Together, they form the very workshop in which reality is forged. Let us take a moment to truly understand this. Your subconscious mind, which is one with the universal creative force, does not distinguish between what you vividly imagine and feel as true and what you actually experience in the outer world. It accepts as true you feel. In a moment of confusion, not knowing what to do, this is what you must do. Turn within to your imagination. Create a scene that implies your desired outcome has already been realized. Feel the relief, the clarity, the certain knowing the perfect path has been revealed to you. Live in this imaginal act as though it were your physical reality. This, my dear listeners, is the essence of what to do when you don't know what to do. Recognizing that the power to shape your reality, to find, lies within you, waiting to be expressed through your conscious imaginal acts. It is about understanding that your outer world of uncertainty, biblical phrase, be still and know that I am God. This is not a mere poetic expression or a call for passive, an invitation to recognize the power of your inner being. When you become still, when you quiet the chatter of your worried mind and enter into your imagination, you are connecting with the God. It's not about escapism or denial of your current circumstance. It is a total immersion in fulfilled of the perfect solution already realized. When you truly an inner conversations on by, let us explore this further with an example. Imagine a person facing a critical decision in their life, perhaps choosing between two career paths, unsure of which to pursue. Their outer reality shows no clear to their imagination. And the satisfaction, the certainty, the joy of knowing they are on the right path. They allow this feeling to permeate every cell of their being. They live in this imaginal act, not just for a moment, but they return to it again and again, especially as they drift off to sleep. External changes in their circumstances, but internally, they are no longer the same in their outer world. They find themselves naturally drawn to information, people, and opportunities related to one of the career paths. They approach the decision-making process with a newfound sense of calm and confidence. Ideas and insights that were previously obscured suddenly become clear. And as they continue to live from this state of clarity and certainty in their imagination, their outer world begins to reflect this inner knowing. The perfect path reveals itself, often in ways they could never have logically planned or anticipated. This principle applies to every aspect of your life where you find yourself uncertain or not knowing what to do. Whether you're facing a relationship challenge, a health concern, a financial decision, or any other situation that leaves you feeling lost, the key is to first assume the state of clarity and knowing in your imagination. Feel the reality of having perfect guidance, of knowing exactly what to do. Live in that state, in your imagination, and knowing that as you do so, you are planting a seed in the fertile soil of your subconscious mind that must grow into your outer reality. Now I can hear some of you thinking, but Neville, how can simply imagining a solution really provide things when I don't know what to do? Surely I need to seek advice from others. And to this I say external information and advice can certainly play a role, but they are secondary to the wisdom that comes from within. When you turn to your imagination first, assume the state of clarity and knowing, you align yourself with infinite intelligence. From this aligned state, you will be guided to the right information, the right people, the right circumstances for your desired outcome. Remember, the outcome, it has no life of its own. It is your consciousness that gives life to your experiences. When you remain in a state of confusion and uncertainty, constantly inside yourself, you are breathing life into a reality that perpetuates that confusion. But when you turn within, when you assume the state of clarity, and knowing in your imagination, you set in motion a series of events that must culminate in the outer expression of this new inner reality. This, my dear friends, is the true secret to knowing what to do, belief. But let me warn you, this shift in consciousness, this practice of turning within when faced with uncertainty, is not always an easy task. The old habits of worry, of seeking answers outside yourself, of feeling lost and confused, are deeply ingrained in our collective consciousness. As you embark on this new way of approaching uncertainty, you may find resistance arising within you. Old thought patterns may try to reassert themselves. When this happens, do not fight against these thoughts and feelings. Simply observe them, acknowledge them, and then gently return to your imaginal act of clarity and knowing. For the war is not won by battling against what you don't want, but by persistently embodying what you do want. This guidance in your imagination, even in the face of outer uncertainty, is what allows you to truly transform your reality. Think of it like tuning a radio. When you're trying to listen to a particular station, you don't focus on eliminating all the other stations. You simply tune into the frequency you desire. In the same way, You don't need to fight against your chaos of confusion or forcefully push away thoughts of uncertainty. You simply need to tune yourself to the frequency of clarity and guidance, to align your entire consciousness with the reality where you know exactly what to do. This tuning is done through your imagination and your ability to generate feeling states. Your imagination is the dial that allows you to tune into different frequencies of experience. As you use your imagination to fully embody the state of clarity and knowing, as you feel the reality of being divinely guided, you are tuning yourself to that frequency, allowing the corresponding experiences to flow into your life. But remember, my friends, this is not a one-time event. Turning within and using your imagination when you don't know what to do is a practice, a way of life. It's a constant choice to maintain this new approach, regardless of appearances. Just as you wouldn't expect to stay in shape by exercising once, you cannot expect to master this practice by using it once. This is about persistently turning within, about maintaining the consciousness of clarity and divine guiding in and day out until it becomes your new normal. As you do this, you will find that your perception of uncertainty begins to shift. What once seemed like confusing, chaotic situations now appear as opportunities for growth and new possibilities. Challenges become stepping stones to greater understanding. You begin to see yourself as the empowered being you truly are, knowing that divine guidance is always available to you through your imagination. Now some of you may be wondering, but Neville, how can I maintain this practice of turning within when my outer world still seems uncertain? How can I, as it seemed to contradict it? And to this I say, imagination infused with feeling is more powerful than any circumstance. Consider for a moment, deeply moved by a story, whether in a book or a movie. You're not feeling real emotions based on imaginary events. Even though the events were not happening in your physical reality. This is the power you must harness when you turn within in moments of uncertainty. You must use your to create scenarios that evoke. Imagine how you would feel if you knew with absolute certainty the perfect path to take. Feel the relief, the confidence, the sense of peace that would come with this knowing. Feel these states as vividly and as consistently as you can. The key is to make your imaginal act as real to you as possible. Engage all your senses. Feel the sensations in your body associated with clarity and confidence. Hear the words of wisdom that come from within. See yourself moving through your life with purpose and direction. Make it so real that your rational mind cannot distinguish between this inner experience and physical reality. But here's a crucial point, my friends. The goal is not to imagine specific solutions or outcomes. The goal is to capture the essence of the feeling state associated with having divine guidance and knowing exactly what to do. For it is this feeling state that is the true attractor of your experiences. Let me illustrate this with an example. Instead of trying to imagine the specific details of a solution to the solve, capture the feeling essence of being divinely guided. Imagine a warm, comforting light filling your being, bringing with it a sense of absolute knowing. Feel the peace, the certainty, the alignment that comes with this state. See yourself moving through your day with an unshakable confidence, knowing that each step you take is divinely guided. By focusing on the feeling essence rather than specific outcomes, you allow the universe to bring your solution to you in ways that might far exceed your specific imaginings. You open yourself to possibilities beyond what your current mindset can conceive. This is the true art of knowing what to do when you don't know what to do. It's not about forcing yourself to come up with a solution through sheer willpower. It's about aligning yourself with the truth of your divine nature, your oneness with the creative power of the universe. It's about living each day from the state of being divinely guided regardless of outer appearances. As you practice this, you may find that your
Have you heard of a simple dental hack anyone can do to rebuild their teeth and gums without having to step foot in the
That your outer world begins to shift in subtle ways. Perhaps you start to notice more synchronicities in your life. Or you find yourself naturally drawn to information or people that provide the guidance you seek, or solutions to problems that once seemed impossible begin to present themselves effortlessly. These are all signs that your inner shift, brought about by turning within, is creating ripples in your outer reality. Don't discount these small changes. Celebrate them. See them as confirmation that the law is working. Your imaginations are taking root. But don't become attached to them or anxiously look for them. Simply acknowledge them with gratitude and continue to live from the state of divine guidance in your imagination. As you persist in this practice, larger changes will begin to manifest. You may find yourself navigating complex situations with ease and grace. You may notice that decisions that once paralyzed you with uncertainty now become clear and obvious. You may achieve outcomes you once thought impossible with a sense of effortless alignment. And as you continue to turn within and live from the state of divine guidance, you'll discover that life becomes an exciting adventure of ever-unfolding clarity and purpose. But remember, the outer manifestation is not the goal. The goal is the state of consciousness from which all desired experiences naturally flow. This is a crucial point, my friends. When you're truly embodying the state of being divinely guided, when you're fully living from this consciousness, you no longer need external circumstances to confirm your state. You're already whole, already completing your knowing that you are always divinely guided. And paradoxically, it's in this state of inner assurance that you're most likely to experience a life where you always know exactly what. Now, some of you might be thinking, but Neville, what about action? Don't we need to do things in the physical world to find solutions and make decisions? And to this I say, yes, action is part of the process. But it's inspired action, not anxious to it. When you're consistently turning within and living from the state of divine guidance, ideas and opportunities will naturally present themselves to you. You'll feel inspired to take certain actions, to move in certain directions. These actions won't feel like struggle or effort. They'll feel natural, joyful, almost effortless. This is the difference between trying to figure things out through sheer mental effort and allowing solutions to unfold naturally. When you're trying to force clarity, actions feel stressful, born out of fear and uncertainty. When you're living from the consciousness of divine guidance, actions flow naturally from your aligned state, guided by an inner wisdom that knows exactly what steps to take. Consider the example of a river flowing to the sea. The river doesn't strain to find its path. It doesn't force its way through obstacles. It simply flows, naturally finding the path of least resistance. You, my dear listeners, are no different. When you align yourself with the consciousness of divine guidance through your imagination, you allow your life to unfold naturally and beautifully, always knowing the perfect steps to take. But let me be clear, this state of allowing is not passive. It requires an active use of your imagination, a deliberate and focused embodiment of the state of being divinely guided. Not blind faith in external circumstances, consciousness, and your ability to always know what to do through your connection with the infinite intelligence. It's not about figuring things out someday in the future. It's about knowing that you are divinely guided now in this very moment, and that your outer world must inevitably conform to this new inner reality. As you cultivate this faith, as you persist in turning within and living from the state of divine guidance, you'll begin to see evidence of always knowing what to do in your outer world. These signs may start small, an unexpected insight that solves a problem, a chance encounter that provides exactly the information you need, a sudden clarity about a decision you've been struggling with, basic. For their information that your inner world, shaped by your imaginal acts, is indeed shaping your outer reality. There are breadcrumbs leading you to the full realization of a life where you always know it's now exactly what to do, even in the face of apparent uncertainty. As we near the conclusion of our discussion, I want to address a common concern that arises when people first encounter this teaching. Many worry that turning within and relying on their imagination for guidance might somehow disconnect them from reality or lead to impractical decisions. But I assure you, my friends, the opposite is true. When you truly understand the principle of turning within for guidance, you realize that you are not separate from reality. You are the creator of your reality. As you elevate your own consciousness by connecting with the divine guidance within, you are elevating your ability to navigate the physical world with grace and wisdom. As we embark on this journey together, I ask you to cast aside all notions of limitation, all beliefs of scarcity, and all fears that have held you in their grip. For in this moment, and in every moment hereafter, you possess the divine ability to compress eternity into the present instant. You are, in essence, the master of time itself. Consider, if you will, the nature of time. What is it truly? Is it the relentless ticking of the clock, the steady march of seconds, minutes, and hours? Or is it something far more fluid, far more malleable than we have been led to believe? I tell you now with absolute certainty, we paint the masterpiece of our lives. When you act as if you have no time left, you are not surrendering to a finite existence. Rather, you are claiming your birthright as an infinite being, capable of transcending.
Don't just eat that.
I'm
That's- you're gonna
terrified.
be unhealthy.
I don't look like
Have
you.
a- have a-
How do you eat like that and look?
God.
Of linear time. You are stepping into the eternal now, where all possibilities exist simultaneously, where your deepest desires are already fulfilled. Let us pause for a moment and truly contemplate this idea. Close your eyes, if you will, and imagine that this very instant is all you have. Feel the weight of that realization settle upon you. Now ask yourself, if this were truly my last moment, what would I do? How would I feel? What truths would I speak? What love would I express? As you sit there, eyes closed, fully immersed in the reality of this eternal now, you are tapping into the infinite power of your imagination. You are, at this very moment, breaking free from the shackles of past regrets and future anxieties. For what is imagination if not the very substance of eternity, the evidence of reality is not yet seen in the world of Caesar? Now open your eyes and look around you. The world may appear unchanged, but I assure you, a profound shift has occurred within you. You have, for a brief moment, lived in the compression of time. You have experienced the intensity and clarity that comes when we shed the illusion of endless tomorrows. But let us not be content with mere glimpses of this timeless state. The art of acting as if you have no time left requires consistent practice, unwavering focus, and a willingness to live with an intensity that may at first seem overwhelming. It demands that you maintain the urgency of your last moment, not just in quiet contemplation, but in every waking instant of your day. Imagine, if you will, a man who truly understands that his time is limited. He does not procrastinate, he does not waste precious moments on trivial matters. He speaks his truth boldly, loves deeply, creates passionately. How does this man carry himself? How does he interact with others? How does he approach his goals and dreams? This man, my friends, moves through the world with a sense of purpose that is palpable. He doesn't wait for the right time to pursue his passions. He understands that now is the only time there is. He doesn't hold back his love or his forgiveness, for he knows that each interaction could be his last. He creates with abandon, pouring his entire being into his work, for he understands that his creations are his legacy. This man is not living in fear of death. On the contrary, he is more alive than ever before. By embracing the finite nature of his physical existence, he has tapped into the infinite nature of his consciousness. He has compressed eternity into each moment, and in doing so, he has discovered the secret to truly living. Now, some of you may be thinking, but Neville, if I act as if I have no time left, won't I become anxious or desperate? Won't I neglect my responsibilities in a mad rush to live life to the fullest? These are natural concerns, born from a misunderstanding of what it truly means to live, as if you have no time left. You see, acting as if you have no time left is not about frantically trying to cram a lifetime of experiences into each day. It's not about neglecting your duties or living recklessly. It's about bringing a new level of awareness, of presence to each moment of your life. It's about recognizing the preciousness of time and using it wisely in alignment with your highest purpose. When you truly embody this state of timelessness, you find that you naturally prioritize what's truly important. You stop putting off your dreams for some mythical future date. You cease engaging in petty conflicts or holding on to grudges. You begin to live from your highest self, expressing your divine nature in each thought, word, and deed. Consider the words of Scripture. Be ye therefore perfect, even as your Father which is in heaven is perfect. This is not a command to achieve some impossible standard of behavior. It is an invitation to recognize your true nature, your oneness with the divine. When you act as if you have no time left, you are claiming this divine perfection in the eternal now. You may ask, does one begin this practice? How to act as if they have no time left in a world that seems designed to distract and delay? The answer, my dear friends, lies in the power of your wonderful human imagination. Your imagination is the very bridge between time and eternity, the tool by which you can collapse life into. Begin by selecting a scene, a short, simple scene that embodies the life you would live if you truly had no time left. Perhaps it's a scene of you boldly declaring your love to someone you've admired from afar. Maybe it's the feeling of satisfaction as you put the final touches on your life's work. Or it could be the peace you feel as you forgive someone who has wronged you, knowing that life is too short for resentment. Now, enter that scene in your imagination. Do not merely visualize it as if watching a movie. Step into it. Be the protagonist in this drama of your creation. Feel the urgency, the clarity, the aliveness that comes with knowing this could be your final act. Make it as real and as vivid as you possibly can. And most importantly, feel the emotion, the intensity, the passion, the love that this compressed moment brings you. Repeat this imaginal act night after night, day after day. Let it be the last thing you experience before drifting off to sleep, and the first thing you return to upon waking. Live in this state as often as you can, for in doing so, you are collapsing. You are acting as if you have no time left. As you persist in this practice, you will begin to notice profound shifts in your outer world. You may find yourself naturally taking bold actions that you previously would have postponed. You may notice a new depth in your relationships as you express your true feelings without hesitation. You may discover wells of creativity and productivity that you never knew you possessed. These changes, my friends, are not coincidences. They are the natural result of your shift in consciousness. They are the physical manifestation of your new understanding of time and your place within it. Do not question them. Do not doubt them. Simply accept them with gratitude, knowing that they are confirmation of the truth you have accepted in your imagination. But what of those moments when the old habits of procrastination and delay creep back in? What of those times when the world of Caesar seems to demand that you put off your dreams, that you wait for beams? This, beloved, is where your resolve is tested and strengthened. Remember, the outer world is a shadow, a reflection of past states of consciousness. It takes time for this shadow to fully align with your new state of being. During this period of transition, you must stand firm in your conviction. You must persist in your assumption that now is the only time you have to. When you feel yourself slipping back into old patterns, do not fight it. Do not resist it. Simply observe it, acknowledge it, and then gently return to the feeling of timeless urgency. Remind yourself that your imagination is the reality, and that the world of Caesar must conform to it in due time. For it is written, the vision has its own appointed hour, it ripens, it will flower. If it be long, then wait, for it is sure. You will find that your entire being with purpose. The words carry the weight.
Illuminate your yard with the new landscape light collection from Jellyfish Lighting. Light up walkways, landscaping, or any.
An immediacy. Your actions spring from a place of clarity and conviction. You no longer wait for the perfect moment. You create perfection in each moment. This, my dear friends, is the art and science of living in the eternal now. It is the method to transcend the limitations of linear time and step into the fullness of your divine nature. It is not a denial, but a profound affirmation of life. It is the practical application of the eternal power that resides within you, the power that is your divine birthright. As we delve deeper into this practice, let us consider the nature of reality itself. In the world of Caesar, reality appears fixed and unyielding, a solid construct that we must navigate with caution. But in the realm of imagination, in the kingdom of God within you, reality is fluid. Past, present, and future exist simultaneously, and you have the power to select the reality you wish to experience. When you act as if you have no time left, you are essentially stepping out of the illusion of fixed reality and into the fluid reality of imagination. You are selecting from the infinite possibilities that exist, the reality that aligns with your highest self. And as you dwell in that reality in your imagination, compressing eternity into each moment, you draw it into your physical experience. Consider the words of Scripture. In the twinkling of an eye, we shall all be changed. This is not a prophecy about some future event. It is a profound truth about the nature of consciousness. In the instant that you shift your awareness, in the moment that you decide to live, as if you have no time left, you are changed. And as you change, the world around you must change to reflect your new state to be. But my beloved listeners, I must caution you, this power is not to be used frivolously or for the harm of others. For in harming others, you only harm yourself. Remember, in the true reality of your true self, there is no other. We are all one, all expressions of the same divine consciousness. Therefore, use this power wisely for the betterment of all. As you practice acting as if you have no time left, you may find that your priorities begin to shift. What once seemed important may lose its urgency. What you thought you wanted may pale in comparison to the deep callings of your soul that now demand expression. This is natural and beautiful. It is a sign of your expanding consciousness, your growing awareness of what truly matters in the eternal now. Embrace these shifts. Allow your imagination to soar beyond the confines of your current desires. For in truth, the ultimate aim of this practice is not merely to accomplish more in less time, but to fully realize your oneness with the divine. It is to know beyond all doubt that you are an eternal being having a temporary human experience, that you are limitless, that you are, in essence, God expressing itself as you. Now, let us address a question that may have arisen in your minds. If I am to act as if I have no time left, does this mean I should abandon all long-term planning? Should I disregard the future entirely? The answer, my friends, is both yes and no. You see, abandoning long-term planning in the conventional sense is not the same as acting as if you have no time left. To truly embody this state requires a shift in consciousness so profound that your relationship with the future itself is transformed. You do not ignore the future, you bring it into the present through the power of your imagination. Imagine, if you will, a great artist working on their masterpiece. They do not fret about whether they will finish the work. They do not constantly check the clock or worry about running out of work time. They are fully immersed in the act of creation, bringing their entire being into each brushstroke. Yet, at the same time, they hold the vision of the completed work in their imagination. This is how you must approach your life when you act as if you have no time left. You bring the full force of your being into each moment while simultaneously holding the vision of your fulfilled desires in your imagination. You do not work towards your goals. You live from the state of their fulfillment now. As you practice this, you will find that your relationship with time itself begins to change. What once felt like a limited resource to be carefully rationed now becomes an abundant wellspring of possibility. For you understand that in the eternal now, there is time for everything that truly matters. But remember, my dear friends, this is not about cramming more activities into each day. It is about bringing more life into each moment. It is about understanding that the fullness of existence is available to you here and now, if only you have the courage to claim it. Now, let us delve deeper into the practical aspects of this practice. How does one maintain this state of timeless urges throughout the day, amidst the demands and distractions of daily life? The key lies in cultivating a thought, a new way of perceiving and in the world around you. Begin each day with the feeling of timeless. Before you open your eyes in the morning, moments in the eternal now, they could be your last. Let this feeling permeate your entire being. Eyes and begin your day. As you go about your daily activities, continuously remind yourself of the preciousness of each moment. When faced with a decision, ask yourself, if this were my last day on earth, what would I choose? This simple question can shift your perspective dramatically, allowing you to approach situations from a place of clarity and purpose, rather than habit or fear. Practice gratitude for each moment, not from a place of scarcity, but from a place of abundance. Be thankful not for what you hope to experience in the future, but for what you are experiencing now. This attitude of gratitude aligns you with the frequency of the eternal now, drawing more reasons to be grateful into your life. Watch your words carefully, for they are powerful as if each word could be your last. Eliminate phrases of postponement or delay from your vocabulary. Instead of saying, I'll do it tomorrow, say, I choose to do this now. Instead of saying, I'm waiting for the right time, saying, now is the right thing. Choose them as if they were your last. In your interactions with others, bring a new level of presence and authenticity. Listen as if it were the last time you would hear their voice. As if it were your final opportunity to do so. Love as if this moment were all you had. For in truth, this moment is all you ever had. When you find yourself slipping back into old patterns of procrastination or delay, do not berate yourself. Simply observe it, acknowledge it, and gently guide your state of timeless urgency. Remember, this is a practice. Like any skill, it takes time and patience to master. Be kind to yourself as you learn and grow. As you persist in this practice, you will begin to notice a profound shift in your perception of the world. What once seemed like obstacles become opportunities for growth and expression. What once caused you anxiety is now met with calm resolve. You will find yourself naturally taking inspired action, effortlessly moving towards the realization of your deepest desires. But here, my beloved listeners, is where many stumble. As they begin to see the fruit of their new state of consciousness.
If you're using ChatGPT but don't know how to monetize it, watch this video to the end. Alright, step 1.
Consciousness manifesting in the physical world, they start it will take for their desires to fully manifest. They look for signs and try to figure out the how of their manifestations. In doing so, they slip out of the timeless now and back into the linear thinking of past and future. This is a crucial point in your journey. When you begin to see your life transforming, when you notice the world rearranging itself to accommodate your new reality, you must hold steady in your assumption. Do not be moved by appearances. Do not try to figure out how or when your desire will manifest. Simply continue to live from the state of timeless urgency, knowing with unshakable faith that what you have imagined must come to pass. Remember the words of Scripture. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen, your faith. Your absolute knowing that now is the only time there is the very substance that brings your desires into physical manifestation. It is the evidence of the unseen reality that exists in your imagination. As you continue to act as if you have no time left, you may find that your relationship with desire itself begins to change. You may discover that the joy you sought in the fulfillment of your desires was available to you all along. For in truth, the state of timeless urgency is not about frantically chasing after experiences. It is a state of consciousness, a way of being in the world. When you truly embody this state, you realize that there is nothing to seek, nothing to strive for. Everything you could ever want or need is available to you now, waiting to be expressed. This realization brings a profound sense of peace and fulfillment. You no longer postpone your joy, for you know that joy is the very essence of your being, available in each eternal moment. This, my dear friends, is the ultimate freedom. It is the state of being that all spiritual teachings point towards. It is the kingdom of heaven that is within you. When you act as if you have no time left, you are claiming your rightful place in this kingdom. You are acknowledging your oneness with the divine, your role as a co-creator of reality. But let us be clear, this state of consciousness does not mean that you become reckless or irresponsible. On the contrary, when you act as if you have no time left, you become more responsible, more intentional in your choices. You become acutely aware of the impact of your thoughts, words, and actions. You understand that each moment is an opportunity to express your highest self, to contribute to the world in a meaningful way. As we near the end of our time together, I want to address a question that may have arisen in your minds. If I am to act as if I have no time left, does this mean I should never rest or take time for self-care? The answer, my beloved, is that rest and self-care take on a new meaning when you live from this state of consciousness. You see, when you act as if you have no time left, your rest becomes more restful, your self-care more nurturing. For you understand the preciousness of these moments. You don't rest out of exhaustion or escape, but out of a deep honoring of your being. You don't engage in self-care out of obligation or fear, but out of love for the divine expression that you are. In this state, you may find that you accomplish more than you ever thought possible, yet with less struggle and strain. For you are no longer pushing against the current of life, but flowing with it. You are no longer trying to make things happen in some imagined future, but allowing them to unfold naturally in the eternal now. And so, my dear friends, as we conclude this exploration of acting as if you have no time left, I urge you to take this practice into your daily life. Begin now in this very moment to live from the state of timeless urgency. Feel the aliveness, the clarity, the love that comes from knowing that now is all you have. Remember, this is not about living in fear of death. It is about embracing the fullness of life. It is about aligning yourself with the deepest truth of your being. It is about claiming your divine inheritance as an eternal being expressing itself in time. As you leave this place and return to your daily lives, carry with you the knowledge that now is the only time there is. Let it inform your thoughts, your words, your actions. Let it transform your perception of the world and your place in it. For in truth, you are not separate from the world. You are the world, experiencing itself through your unique perspective. Act as if you have no time left, and watch as your life takes on a new depth and richness. Live from the eternal now, and see how your path unfolds before you with grace and ease. Be the person who compresses eternity into each moment, and discover that you have always been that person, waiting to be acknowledged and expressed. Go forth, my beloved, and create the life you desire. For you are the operant power. You are the divine made flesh. You are the creator of your reality. Everything you could ever want or need is available to you now. Claim it, live it, and always remember the world is yourself pushed out. As you transform your inner world, your outer world must follow. This is the law. This is the promise. This is the truth that sets you free. In closing, I leave you with this thought. Each breath you take is both your first and your last. Each moment is a beginning and an ending. In this paradox lies the secret of eternal life. For when you fully embrace the finite nature of your physical existence, you tap into the infinite nature of your consciousness. Live as if you have no time left, and you will discover that you have all the time in the world. For in the eternal now, time ceases to be a limitation and becomes a canvas for your creative expression. Thank you, my dear friends, for your attention and your willingness to explore these profound truths. May you go forth in the knowing that you are loved, that you are powerful beyond measure, and that now is the only time there is. For you are, in truth, the eternal expressed in time. God bless you all.
Why do you tell your patients to never use it?
It's your truth. You ain't moving, you breathing, you're good to go.
Hang in there, you already survived anyway, so fuck it. We all been through some shit, handle it.
Why you should never wrap your credit card in tin foil. I've worked at a big corporation bank for 12 years. Yesterday I watched an...
In there, you already survived anyway, so fuck it. We all been through some shit, handle it.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
I'm so sorry I was 20 minutes late to this date, but I'd be so happy we decided to finally meet up.
What do you do?
I went to school for pansexual literature, but I'm currently working as a barista, and I'm doing like TikTok on the side. I have a good work-life balance right now.
I work at Black Rock.
Okay, flex. Okay, and think the world. So you're monogamous?
Yeah.
Wow, that's very old-fashioned. Are you also straight?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I never thought. Well, ever really straight. My last sex was into our relationship. Do you like getting pegged?
Snap into presence. The thinking dome can thrust us into the past and future. Two things that will bone your joy. You could go into the past. Why did that man dynamite my principle? You could go into the future. Well, AI is a woman. But when you later the thinking mind, the stoke rises.
Cost of making money is that you're going to lose some. If I want to make $100 million, I'm going to lose $10 million. If I want to make $1 billion, I'm probably going to lose 50. undermoving? I don't know. Now that could be in lost opportunity. That could have been in making the wrong decisions. That could be in the value of a company. But I've just seen that there's a huge correlation with how much you're willing to lose with how much you're willing to gain. Because if you're constantly saying, I don't want to lose, that's where your mind's focused. Rather than, I want to make more. I want to make sure that I'm not being stupid with my money. But I don't want to be so focused on not losing money that I'm not opening myself up to the opportunity to make more.
Well, the key here is to always take note and don't take big losses that are unnecessary, but sometimes it's just business. And it's always important to not take business personal. You really can't conduct business without taking a loss, so whatever method you use to stomach turmoil, do whatever's best for you, but just don't quit.
Alright, y'all, let's see what I got for you today. Alright guys, we're driving on our way to go snowboarding, so there might be some noise, is what it is. Today I want to talk to you about prioritizing things. And you know, there's a couple levels to it, because I think,
If you guys watched the last video, as promised, I'm right here, starting the intro off. The calf coming up in the air. I'm not that tall anymore, but it's time to get my Lightning engine in, because after finding not only a blown head gasket, but a broken piston ringland too, I decided to build a much stronger engine with the original block using forged rods and pistons all set up for boost. Ring gap was measured, clearances were checked, and I assembled everything with stronger hardware to make sure it all holds together for years to come. After bolting up the cylinder heads, I installed aftermarket camshafts that should have a little bit of chop to them. And then I went back together with the log tube adders, a larger 2.3 liter Eaton supercharger like the old GT500s had, and some fancy SVT valve covers. Now my goal for the truck has always been something a little bit more rowdy, but also reliable, considering how many issues the original Lightning engine had. Anything over 500 horsepower is pretty fun in these little trucks, and let's just hope my engine does well with minimal hiccups along the way. This is not good, guys. We're getting no oil pressure.
No. So how would you purify water in case of a blackout? Oh, I boil it. Boiling kills bacteria, but it doesn't remove contaminants. Plus, it takes a long time. In an emergency, we need a method that's effective and fast. We would need a method that wouldn't need electricity.
We're getting no oil pressure. First things first, we are going to remove this bumper that I just had kind of resting on there. Now we have a lot more room for activity. It's time to install this engine onto a frame, and I'm not going to lie, I'm really excited about this, mostly because I feel like this engine stand has been on the verge of collapsing for the last leg of the project. It's heavy. Good job, dude. Not breaking it. Take the stand off the back. This is a spacer that goes between the engine and transmission, like that. Next up, we have our flex plate. Now remember, it is flex plate for an automatic, flywheel for a manual, and Alex was like 2 years ago marked this, like, you know, scratch marks on the crank, and right here. What? That didn't really matter because these guys only line up one way. Yeah, you can see here when this lines up, this does not. So you cannot mess this up. Bam. I have a bunch of flex plate bolts to install. And I like to use Loctite on these. Just 60 foot-pounds. Use really anything, screwdriver or something to jam up in the block, so I just use a quarter drive extension. Just remember to take going up so these air's clear. Should be good. Man, push it on in. Get in there, buddy. Woo. That's all. Momentum going. Looks like a good going home song. Sweet home Alabama. I don't know. It's another good one that's fitting, you know, for an engine going back home. Just gotta start writing car songs. My engine's going home. My engine's going back home after it's been gone for a long time and it's grown. I think that rhymes. Went a little bit too far home there. With the old one-eye hand. Slow. Stop. Coming in for the landing. We're very close to the pry bar in here now. I think I got this pretty lined up. Down with it? Alright, cool. She's down. Sweet. I'm gonna go ahead and get these bolts in there all the way first. This is the bolt that goes through the door out there. Two of them. Kind of hard to see. It goes right in there. 5, 3,
both sides have tightened up. I got rid of the chain. And Cherry Picker, thank you for your service. I don't know if we'll see you soon. Hopefully we don't need you on, you know, a North Star engine one day, or a Typhoon engine one day. Transmission kind of just fell into place. We tightened up the belts. Oops. And get the trans jack out. She's looking like something, that's for sure. We have an engine and transmission. I like having both of those things. They work so well together. I get the starter in. There's no real easy way to do this with the headers, but it's there. There's a bolt for it. No matter what the starter stinks in this means it bolts in the transmission, so I can't even put it on the engine for the headers. It's just how it is. So pretty much all the exhaust is already in the Lightning. This is the same exhaust I ran before. I don't have any complaints with it, and all we have to do is install this one little piece I had disconnected. And we got a clamp right there. And some gigantic bolts for the collector, and they thread right in, which is nice, so no nuts there. Got a little squirrely there, but exhaust is hooked up. I'm going to go back together with the throttle body now, and this comes in a few pieces because of the aftermarket supercharger. So this is an adapter, so there's a gasket here, and we got this seal in. So now I can go back together with this seals. Real gentle, tighten these guys up. Click, 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 click. Throttle body's done. This is an aftermarket larger throttle body as well. And in doing some research online, this older blower can do like, 700 horsepower on some of the Cobra engines. So maybe a little less on this one. So that's like 700 crank. I'm not going to push it probably that far. Yeah, I'm going to keep this one a little bit milder. This truck, even in more stockish form, had a very difficult time with traction because how there's normally not a lot of weight back here. Unless I go crazy with suspension and tires, you're just never going to hook like, 600 wheel or whatever. I'm telling myself this now. I'm probably eventually going to up the power on it and see what it makes. I got an engine harness. It goes on the engine like that. And then we just go around and kind of plug things in. Give it a little shimmy. It's generally how it. I'm going to have to watch my own videos again to make sure I got this all right. Okay, yeah, these are nice. These rails fit right onto the studs in the valve cover. Holds it. Beautiful. Start plugging in these coils. I have adapters for the injectors that I'm going to in tomorrow. Nice solid clicks. Alright, we're going to start feeding in our transmission cooler lines at this point because most of the harness is all done. I believe it goes in something like that. I've connected the lines to the transmission. Give these a nice tight little line wrench. Okay. And if you guys are wondering, the transmission in the F-150 Lightning was right out of the Super Duty, so they needed something to handle all of the power, and they just took it from the diesel. Before we get too carried away, which we got kind of carried away, I want to crank the engine over with just the starter. We're going to prime the oil system and hook up a gauge, but we have to connect the torque converter to the flex plate, which is a lot of fun. We have that access hole in there to tighten up our nuts. You can see one of the studs there. This torque converter has studs, which is not fun to line up when you're first mating the engine trans. But anyway, of course, our converter nuts are standard, 9/16, so I got those. And yeah, the toolbox always gets so nasty. I'm slipping and sliding here. Hang on, I can take care of this in about 1 minute with a little bit of release. And our pumper is so good. I like to clean the floors with this. I mean, look at how easy that is. I love it. We went from oily mess to perfection in like 3 seconds. Now, you guys know I've been using Release for the last couple of years to clean just about everything. It's an amazing company. I work directly with them, and this product is made right in Wisconsin, just a few hours from where I live. And there are so many uses because this is an all-surface cleaner, so you can use it in the shop, your RV, your boat, your aircraft. You gotta keep your plane clean, and there's so many uses at home as well, like all of your stainless steel appliances. Say goodbye to those annoying fingerprints. You can clean up your nasty grill with Release as well. Just take a look at the difference on mine. I've always had a tough time finding something that cleans wheels well but is gentle and doesn't ruin the finish. Release is your product. I use these on every wheel in the shop, and it's perfect. It removes the brake dust almost immediately, and it really just brings out the shine. Look at my bronze wheels. Release also cleans every material in your interior as well. So I've used this to clean up the light tan seats on the Trans Am and even the gray cloth on my Typhoon. I've even used Release to clean some of the nasty, greasy engine parts for the Lightning, and it's just amazing at how effective yet gentle it can be. Now, you'd think a cleaner that can do it all would be really expensive, but it's not. If you guys buy the 1 gallon concentrate, you can make about 80 32-ounce bottles for only around $1 each. Now, it's
super easy to order release. I'm going to drop their link down below with a coupon code. It's legit 10. That's going to get you 10% off. And you can also order this stuff on Amazon. So I'll leave that link down there as well, and you'll get it in a day or two. It's really quick. So check it out. Now back to the lightning torque converter nuts. That should be fun. I'm going to go after this one. We have our oil pressure gauge connected and a battery. Transmission cooler is looped currently because it's not connected to the radiator. And we have our trigger right here. All right, here we go. It's not building any pressure yet. That's normal. Might take a minute. I am getting absolutely no oil pressure. I pulled the valve cover just to verify whether any oil coming out of here. We don't. This is just residual from when I assembled the engine. And then I pulled out all the spark plugs and hooked up a jumper and everything just to get this thing spinning quicker. No oil pressure whatsoever. Now, sometimes this happens. It's hard to prime a completely new engine with your oiling system. So I've created something. Hopefully this works. That is where our oil pressure test port is. I've hooked up a tube. We have our tube pump, and I'm going to pump some engine oil right in. So being as how that's the pressure port, it should fill everything in the engine, including the oil pump. So let's see what happens. All right, so I'm pumping it in. I have the valve cover off. Hopefully we'll see something. Here's something. Sounds good. Oh yeah, very nice. We got oil coming up now. There we go. This is not good, guys. We're getting no oil pressure. I know some guys are going off the starter, it's like a couple hundred RPM. You gotta crank for like 30 seconds, something like that, but I've cumulatively done that, and we don't get anything. I'm just...
Mercedes-Benz of Westminster, Colorado has done an excellent job for me on my service needs. I come here because Andrew and Alec take really good care of me. They treat me like family.
Anything that goes wrong, I always bring it. They fix it right away without an issue.
If you need work on a Mercedes truck or van, this would be a great place for me to go.
Everything about Mercedes-Benz of Westminster has been...
I've done some research online, and with these Triton engines, especially with the new oil pump, spinning with the starter just isn't enough to get into prime, so you actually do have to start it, you know, which is normal. A lot of people cab right now and just hook up kind of the bare minimum to get this thing to run. Come on, Blue Oval. Don't let me down. It's legit street cars. This thing has to have oil pressure. I don't know what that means. I've definitely had stuff not have oil pressure. I've had, well, geez, the last like big Ford project was the Cobra. That had too much oil pressure. It was blowing up oil filters. Whoa! Alright, stop. I mean, it was cool to see on camera after the video was done, but at the moment I was like, what in the world? It was very stressful. Just the cab is pretty close to being where it needs to be. We have the battery connected. Our starter relay broke off, so I have a new one coming. It's like 23 years old. It's just brittle. But anyway, let's give it a look here for the first time in like 2 years. Oh, she's alive. Lightning, yes. Alpine radio and all. Right now we're going to upload a tune. So Mike over at day2 MP sent this over. Program vehicle, key. And here it is, base tune. So right now it's going to save whatever file was in here before. I'm assuming the truck was tuned because when I bought it, it had different injectors and a few other little modifications. So hopefully it was tuned, or maybe that's why it blew the engine up because it wasn't tuned. Who knows? Here we go. It's right in the new tune for the 80-pound fuel injectors and all of the other mods. I just let Mike know everything that we got done, and this will be a good base map just to fire it up. All right, not gonna lie, guys, this is one of those moments where you should just go to the bathroom, you know, before. Yeah, like right now, I'm just very nervous. Alright. Come on, baby. We have the bare minimum connected to get this thing to start. We have a tune. We have our gauge hooked up. Mental checklist is checking. Let's do it. Fire in the hole. Oh, there we go. Woo! We got a low pressure. Oh, that's awesome, guys. For all of you, might be leaking back there, I don't really care. We have oil pressure, but lesson learned, people. On the Ford V8 engines, you will not get any oil pressure at all, just cranking it. On the LS's and a lot of other stuff I've done this on, you will, but apparently not on this. But she fired. The lightning runs again. I can't even comprehend this right now because I was just so focused on this. Let's continue making the lightning strike lightning. I don't know what to say right now. I looked everything over. No obvious leaks or anything. We did have a vacuum leak, so I plugged that up. Let's do this again. Oh, yeah.
Awesome. All right, we got lots of other things to wrap up. It's idling high just because we probably have a bunch of stuff disconnected. But man, when this thing idles down, I think it's really gonna chop. We went with, gosh, I don't even remember at this point what cams, but we went with some different comm cams in here, so it should sound pretty American. Now that we have this thing running, there's just, I don't know, about 20 little things to do. I had to make some modifications to this right here. As you can see, it's freshly painted, and it was hitting the firewall. So if you guys remember from a couple of years ago when I first fitted up this blower, I had to massage the firewall quite a bit. But now that we have new engine mounts, I had to do a little bit more, and I had to grind out a little here. But yeah, this now fits. As you can see here, we have clearance, so that's good. Leaving this off so I can wrap some things up, like the PCV system. So I have a PCV valve on this valve cover, routed with a hose over to a PCV valve on this cover, and then we're running an open breather element. So on old school boosted applications, I like to run an open breather element. I don't like to reroute anything back into the intake, even with a good catch can. I'd rather just do it this way. Sometimes if you have a lot of blow-by, you'll see a lot of steam coming out of there. If we have that, I'll run a vented catch can. So again, it's not getting into the intake. So a traditional PCV system has a vacuum being pulled on the crankcase, and so you are going to eventually burn what's in the crankcase, which is a mist of oil and fuel, but a lot of that will end up getting caked up inside of the intake, and in this case they have an issue with the intercoolers just being soaked in oil. I don't want anything to do with that. So right now, soaked in oil. I don't want anything to do with that. So right now I'm working on some electric fans. So these are like $120 electric fans from a much newer F-150, and this is the Lightning radiator, and they kind of fit, sort of, but not really. I'm gonna have to do some modifications, so let's get to cut. So most of this ear needs to come off. Off with the ear. And we'll just fit this back on. So two of the top bolts, they line up perfectly, that one. And this one here, just need a little bit more trimming around the transcooler connection. Oh yeah. These diamond bits are pretty awesome. I've been using this particular one for like 10 years. This is clearing perfectly now. I shaved a little bit of this down, but it's just too thick for this factory provision on the radiator. Yeah, like it just won't slide in, and these are very tough. I'm gonna try and heat it up, and we'll push it in and see if we can kind of reform it. I think I've got this thing pretty hot. Let's see. Come on. John's going closer. Give it at the face, too. Ooh. Okay, will the face work? The face never works. Something I just realized is with these lined up, this thing is actually sitting crooked because these two parts were never meant for each other. So I think we're gonna have to chop this off completely and get this thing centered. All right, guys, I made a last minute change here to the actual radiator itself. See how this is a single core? It almost looks like it's missing something. Well, it is. It's missing a whole another core. So I went and got the proper radiator for this Lightning. This thing is a monster. I only had the single core because I was in such a rush to get this truck done for the eBay tour around the country that I needed something to work. This is for like the regular 4.6 F-150s. Anyway, we got a big radiator, and I found up some brackets here to get this thing to line up straight and be held in properly. So, it's one of my favorite tools. Instead of installing a nut and bolt to hold this in, we can do what's called a nut insert, and we're gonna squeeze this like that. Good. So because the fan and the radiator have different mounting points, this will act as an extension, and with the nut insert, we don't have to fiddle around with a nut and washer on the bottom side. It's just much cleaner. So anyway, let me finish this up. We'll do the other side, and this should be done. All right, this side bracket is complete. Bring this one up to me. We're all done. I painted our brackets as well. We have a center bolt also. She's not going anywhere. These two are one. I'm going to install that sweet radiator and fan setup a little later. First, we're going to wrap up a bunch of other stuff because that radiator kind of gets in the way of things. So make our life a little bit easier here. This is the transmission cooler, one of two. The other one being in the actual radiator, which is something that you could eliminate altogether. It does act as a transmission fluid warmer to a certain extent. I'm in the mindset of leave it factory until you have to fix it for some reason. If our transcooler temps are good, then they're good. Because the Lightning is a handling machine, they give you a power steering cooler. Really question why they do this, honestly. This thing has a gearbox, not even a rack and pinion. It's a truck. Is the power steering fluid really getting that warm? I don't know. There she is. All right, those coolers are done. Let's get underneath the truck. Let's hook up our transmission shifter cable, snap that in there, and this one goes on top. Then we have this clip here that secures it. There we go. All right, ready to shift some gears. Now that we have the cab on the frame, I need to tighten up all of the cab mounts, and we have replaced all of the bushings, you know, a couple years ago. There we go. Alright, I'm torquing each body mount's about 45 foot-pounds. I think that'll be good. Next up, we have some oil cooler lines. So these are the coolant lines for them, and I replaced these also a couple years ago, so they're new. Everything's new. These hoses slide on right here. It doesn't matter which hose goes where. You reverse the coolant polarity if you'd like. Yeah, okay. Since we are going with a bigger supercharger and more boost and more power, we need to cool that intake air charge. And the SVT Lightning has a factory air-to-water intercooler system, which is great, but we're going to upgrade pretty much everything. This is the factory heat exchanger, which is going to sit right there. And this is our aftermarket heat exchanger for my friends over at Lightning Force. And we have the GT500 pump, and I don't know if we'll be able to use this, but it has one of the nicest pump brackets I've ever seen. It came like this. I mean, it's like as thick as the frame on this thing. I love it, but if I don't use it, I'm going to reuse it on some project, that's for sure. So we did get instructions that map this all out, and these are the brackets that Lightning Force provides, and they bolt directly onto our factory brackets, and they give us these little isolators, and they're going to go right there. See, the bottom of the heat exchanger has these, so we can slide these in like that. And then up top, we have a couple of isolators like that. Then this bracket has a hook, and that's kind of how the factory ones are. So it has a slot for it like that. Then we can tighten this up from the bottom. So the heat exchanger is tied to this bracket, but this will be tight until we bump run. But for all intents and purposes, this is good. I love when they put the cardboard on here because so many people will push on these and it makes them look bad. If you can see this through your grill, you want to do it. I can't use this bracket. It just makes more sense to use the stock one, but I don't want to cut it off. That's what everybody online does. Like, no way. It is on there though, but I think with a little air we can get it to glide off.
Kroger Delivery, proudly serving King Soopers, has two missions: to save you time and money when our professional drivers deliver fresh groceries right to your door. And free next day delivery with a paid Boost membership means that...
It is on there though, but I think with a little air we can get it to glide off. You guys remember when I built the engine, like we're talking about tolerances and thousandths of an inch and stuff? This is, yeah, it's straight up on there, but we're making like 5-10 thousandths of an inch air clearance here. I think I've got it close enough now. Bam. See the Ford logo, there we go. Wow, you will be used one day. So the Lightning does come with a nice Bosch pump, but this is super old, and they are dimensionally the same, but this flows a lot more. So we're going to swap over a couple of gates here. Slide this guy in here and keep the orientation the same. We have this pump ready to go in, but something to talk about here is this right here. This is a fuel pump resistor. It has a porcelain heatsink and it is cracked. This is kind of a common failure point with the Lightning. So this has dual factory fuel pumps, but when you're just cruising around, you don't need 2 fuel pumps worth of fuel. So Ford integrated this resistor that runs it at like, I think about 7.5 volts. And then when you go wide open throttle, there's a relay, an electrical circuit that will bypass this and give it all, you know, battery voltage that you have. But I am going to eliminate this. It's problematic. These things used on eBay are like $300. It's crazy. So all we have to do is take the wires in the car that plug into this, put them together. That's it. I'm gonna hang on to this connector, so we're gonna cut it right about there. Go ahead and strip these wires. Forces are coming together. Twist these two like so. We're gonna use a non-insulated butt connector like this. On one side. Alright, so now we can heat shrink over. This little attachment is cool for heat shrink and wire repairs. And it keeps all the heat in one area. Nice and factory. Alright, she's all closed up. So technically you could jump the relay, but this way the computer knows nothing. So if we jump the relay, it'll set a code that I think you could maybe tune out, but I'm not going to worry about that. So this way it is all looped out, full 12 volts to the battery. You guys have seen me install hot wire kits and stuff like that that does this. So this was like a reverse hot wire kit from the factory just to extend the life of the pumps, but I'm good with my fuel pumps running, you know, at battery voltage at all times. I'd rather have that safety. Remember when I installed the power steering cooler? Yeah, I gotta take that off. I forgot. Our bracket with the pump goes on first. They share the same voltages. So we can start these. These are notched. So slide it over like that. New pump. New heat exchanger, bypass fuel resistor, move it. The pump connector is the same, so we don't have to do any mods for that. And we can start connecting a bunch of hoses right now. And this is going to be just like factory, because it goes up to the factory reservoir. Slide that over the clamps. I'm going to wrap up all the hoses for the intercooler system so we can get our radiator in. Just have a lot of room right now to do this. Little silicone spray goes a long way. And I'll loop this one around to the heat exchanger. Nice. There we go. This one's coming from the intercooler to put there. Clamps, of course. These are the heater core hoses, which have like a little extension for some reason, which is weird, but these are the intercooler brick hoses going all the way back there, and one of these gets connected to the heat exchanger like you just saw, and the other to the reservoir. From the factory, it uses a metal system like this, but with the aftermarket supercharger, it doesn't fit well. It's all crooked over here, it's looking weird. It's time for this gigantic unit right here. This is the biggest radiators I think around. It's a pickup truck radiator. They all look like this. Oh, this is great with this electric fan though, which we got wired. There she is. All of a sudden, we don't have as much room as we had before. But before, with the gigantic fan shroud, it went like all the way over here with a big mechanical fan. It made a lot of weird noises. I didn't like it. The radiator gets held in with these beefy brackets here. Here's the bolts. Oh, it's so good. Upper radiator hose. There's our factory Ford clamp. Yeah, I'm cleaning the clamp. Okay. I'm making a lot of stuff. I'm liking. You seen this truck from a couple years ago? It's sweet, man. Cruising down the road. We're gonna be doing that soon. Hopefully. Something we're running into is mounting of the factory intercooler reservoir. It used to have provisions on the factory fan shroud that we don't have anymore. So yeah, this is not meant for this. It's just things like that. So we gotta figure some stuff out right off the bat. This is getting in our way. We're not gonna use it. I had to make a few more cuts. And I just vamped up this little bracket here to utilize one of these holes. That's good. Now let's see. This is going to line up. Oh yeah. Okay, cool. We'll definitely get one mounting point here. I made a little groove here, and it kind of slots into the fan shroud as well, so it gives it a little bit of lateral support. Now we're going to insert the top of this radiator. All right. Here. Now we can screw the bracket in right here. Just get started. With that. Alright, that's nice and tight. Now we can install our tank like that. Alright, this thing is solid, and it is resting on the shroud right there in its little slot. That's good. Since this truck never had an electric fan, I'm going to use this controller that I bought for about $130. This is really nice, and what I like about it is that we can control the air conditioning. So it kicks on the fan, the AC kicks on, and so I found that our power to the AC compressor is either at the plug of the AC compressor or right here, and I think it'll just be easier to tap in here, so we're going to tap that wire in, and then to each fan, and then obviously we have power and ground and ignition. I ran 2 relays right here for the fan and some really nice connectors. I have that running through here, and we're not messing around with the gauge wire here. Found some really nice weather pack connectors for the fans too, and we have our heat shrink. Let's get this thing connected up, and I really like these insulation-free connectors like this. Oh yeah, get this end in there. Oh yeah, perfect. It's not going anywhere. Little heat shrink. Look at that. One down. Finish up the rest. So this is a port on the block that goes into a coolant passage. So I think this would be a good spot to run a coolant temperature sensor for the fans. Unscrew this, take it out of the block. Obviously you want to have your engine drained of coolant though before you go take a shower. And coolant, you want that. Here's our brand new coolant temperature sensor, and I just put some thread sealant on there. Go ahead, screw it right into the block. Thank you for it. Actually, it would have been great if this was up top, like, you know, in cylinder head or something like that, but I'm grateful for anything at this point. The sensor's all wired up. It's just a single wire, and it's running to the fan controller. I want to check out where we put the fan controller because it's not weatherproof, so now it is on the firewall inside the car, kind of below, you know, where your feet would be in this area. And so this is going to be our source for key-on ignition to fire the controller up, so it's not just draining voltage at all times. And I'm just going to use a really nice fuse tap into this factory fuse box. So we'll put these together inside here to install our 2 wires into our fuse tab. We're stealing our key-on ignition power from this right here, there was a 15 amp fuse in there, which is now in our fuse tab. So you're gonna run 2 fuses. The 15 amper is going to protect the factory circuit, and then the 10 amp is our new circuit. And then we can just plug it in like that. And the car is none the wiser that we've added some circuitry. And the key on signal to that box in the wideband hold like next to nothing. So that's gonna be good, especially in the 10 amp circuit. I didn't really want to run gauge pods here. We have a grab handle and everything. I only wanted one gauge because I have a factory boost gauge. I just wanted wideband. So I found this cool replacement for the upper trim, and I installed my AAM wideband here. This is really nice. It snaps right in. It's meant for this truck. Now we key on. We have wideband. Sweet. And it's right in the peripheral. I can't say that word. Peripheral. You know what I mean. Alright, all the hoses are clamped up. We're gonna vacuum fill this system, so this is all connected to the reservoir. And pull it back. Now, I want to double check over set, but it's fully the vacuum inside of the engine block, the hoses, the radiator, everything. So yeah, we're good. So we're gonna turn it off and wait a bit, just make sure there's no leaks. I don't hear anything, so that's good. There we go. Yeah. We're now filling the system. Don't let this go dry though, so we have some backups. Once you're done, you might have an empty reservoir like this, that's fine. It's the engine block and radiator that we want to fill with vacuum, then we just top it up with this and call it a day. And wow, that is like 3.5 gallons so far. It's a massive cooling system. All right, it's Monday now, so we've gone through a weekend and I got sick, and so did the lighting. You guys see that orange in the distance? That's coolant. We have a coolant leak underneath the supercharger and the intercooler. So we filled this with coolant, we vacuum bled it, everything was fine, but it sat over the weekend, and there's only one thing. It could be a pipe that requires the supercharger and the intercooler to come off, and now of course all the cap mounts are done. This is just BS. I just got all the bolts off for the supercharger, so now we are going to learn with that amount of clearance if we can sneak this thing out of here. Might be able to. Yes. Okay, cool. That's good news. Okay. Alright, well now we know we can take the supercharger off with the engine in there. Just got all the intercooler bolts off, so we'll get this out of the way as well. Great. Whatever. If they can help us at all taking this out. Our alternator come out. Only good thing about this is just getting to take a look at this beautiful alternator again. That's about it. So there's our leak, there's our pipe, and I can't show you any of this, but I just had to remove 2 bolts back there. I had to get these gold bolts out that were so easy when the engine was not in the cab. Let me tell you, I know you guys think I'm like always calm when I'm working on stuff, which I mostly am, but that sucked. Like, it was horrible, okay? I wish this thing was okay. Alright, I have the O-rings off. Here they are up top, and I'm gonna go with a much thicker O-ring. Those are the ones that came in my gasket set, but I was a little suspect about those from the get-go. I should have just gone with my instinct and just picked something out of the box, but yeah, hopefully that fixes it. MV sunroof grease, I got the new seals on, and put some of that on there. Right, alright, get this on there. It's so hard to do. There it is. Come on. Okay, I got it pushed down all the way. It seems a little bit tighter than before, so that's good. We'll pressure test before any of this goes back. I refilled everything. I've had the pressure tester on here for about a half hour, and it is holding steady. I've cleaned all the coolant in the valley, and I'm just double checking everything. The borescope, the leaks are looking good. And fun fact, that noctitor there that I replaced with the new one, it doesn't do anything. I found out from a few subscribers in the last video that it's there as like a dummy plug, basically does nothing. So these lightings don't use the noctitor. But anyway, their shoe is brand new. Wasted $30. And hey, look at it, it's my name. That's my name. I never even noticed that. It's from the machine shop. 11/5. Yeah, 2023. That's when they finally finished the machine working on here. Awesome. Pressure held and I filled the system. The alternator is back in. Before I get the blower on, I want to secure this a little bit more. So right now it's pretty good, but it needs like one more leg in this area. Unfortunately, there's no more attachment points, but check this out. I made this, we're gonna call it a horse right now. Why? It's a horse. Just a piece of aluminum that I measured up and put 290s in on the vise. And if I slide that in here, this factory standoff could rest in here. Oh, look, it fits perfectly. It's one of our nutsers. Cool. So I put this back. If I drill a hole in here and secure this from the bottom, we're good. Well, we got a sunny day today, so I put this piece outside after painting it, even though I don't know how much of this you're really going to see. But it looks pretty cool. I drilled a hole in the fan shroud and my new piece, and I'm using a rivet right now to hold it in. There you go. See? Solid. And here we have it. This guy is done. Super solid, not going anywhere. And here is our custom bracket riveted in and with an upside down nutser. Now this cover goes over a lot of this. I had to trim it a little. Let's see what she looks like, cover and all. Looking good. I painted that bracket up too. Cool. And you see these stickers here, guys? I got new ones. I got new ones on order. Should be here before we hit the dyno, which is now in 2 days. Less than that. Day and a half. So obviously the blower is back on. We shouldn't have any more coolant leaks. This is filled. Let's give it another start. Definitely running Brits. We're doing a log right now. I'm an overpowered leaf blower.
Right armor coverage, this can really blow your budget.
Alright. Yeah, she needs some help with the idle there, that's for sure. Go ahead and put the front bumper on for this maiden voyage, and so we get to take off our cardboard. Oh, I didn't know it said that. Alright, cool. Landing force performance, that's what it is. Alright, sweet. And this cardboard has been very awesome. So I've been standing on a bucket the entire time working on this thing, and the bucket's been perfectly lined up with this, ready to destroy all of this. That's why they put it on this protection. Don't have to DeVille, don't have to DeVille. Front bumper, what's going on? It's been a while. I mean, it's been kind of hanging here while it's on the lift for a long time, but it's been awesome. It's been bolted up. And we get to see this heat exchanger. This is going to be awesome. Oh, yeah. True blue lighting. I'm going to clean it up. Bumper is on. Let's start this thing up. Get some more adjustments on the tune. Come on, baby. I have to give it some throttle for it to start. A little bit of a weird idle as well, but it's getting better. I sent 2 log files over to Mike over at Dyno2MP, so he sent some back and we're getting it. It was a little rich, but we're getting it leaner now and running pretty good. Fix that idle and AFR, but it is getting up to operating temperature soon. And before our maiden voyage, let's just do an oil change and let this probably run for like 10 or 15 minutes at this point. And then engines blowing up and bad transmissions and all sorts of issues. But then F-150, I just stopped off at the house to grab a few more supplies, but this is pretty cool because some of these cars weren't even around when that thing went down with a bad engine. I think all three of these? Yeah, I think all three of these I didn't own. So we got the Grand National, the C63 AMG, and the DeLorean. All three, you guys, beat the 2002 SVT Lightning. So I'm bringing a bunch of fluids with gloves for the kids. So I'm going to show them how to check every single fluid, fill up tire pressure, jumpstart cars, and if they're all good, we're going to play with our two Traxxas cars. So I picked them at SEMA. Traxxas, awesome company. I've loved these forever. They hooked me up with this off-roady monster and this thing, which is pretty fast. We broke a shock on it, ramming it into a curve at like, I don't know, 40 miles an hour. So we got metal shocks. So that's back in action. And jumper cables, and yeah. Here we go. Here we go. Back at home. All right, guys, I'm seriously going. This starts in about 10 minutes in a parking lot that's about 5 minutes away. I will be able to show everybody's kids and me teaching this lesson. I don't show kids on the channel, really. Wish me luck. I'm going in, and hopefully these kids pay attention. We're all back with the Lightning, and everything went great. And I was actually a little bit low on like coolants and a tiny bit of oil and power steering. Like everything was tiny bit low, just enough for me to show the guys how to fill it. So that was neat one. Something didn't break. That's not neat. And it's actually in the garage. Learned a valuable lesson that's maybe don't let a bunch of 10-year-olds drive a Traxxas remote control car that goes like that 40 miles an hour. You know, Chicago parking lot. But anyway, this rammed into another real car's wheel and it broke the differential and the entire subframe. The good thing is these Traxxas cars are awesome. All of that stuff with shipping and everything was only $65, including a complete front differential. So you can buy every tiny little piece of this car, all the screws and everything on the Traxxas site. I love it. The square body's good though. This thing never breaks. Hi guys, it is 6 a.m. Morning up the Idaho. It's really quiet. Everybody's sleeping. And I gotta start the Lightning. There's nothing I can do about this. I'm so sorry. Neighbors, gotta go. It's pretty loud. Let's get out of here. Bam. Alright, we're out of the neighborhood and getting on the highway. Let's do this, Idaho day. I'll definitely come down with something, but I think I'm just gonna get really sick after the Lightning is done. Nothing's gonna stop me here, people. Oh my gosh. Okay, I just hit it at 15 miles an hour and the whole back end came. Boost gauge was packed. She's making power. I can't go crazy. We have not completed too, but I got a wide band. We're good. Jeez, guys. This truck has zero traction control, obviously rear wheel drive, no way in the bed. You gotta be careful. It's not like the GTR where you can just punch it whenever you want. Alright, so let's go to the shop. We're gonna do a couple little preliminary before the dyno things. And then we're going to Hampshire, Illinois. Guys, check out this Oldsmobile wagon. Woody wagon right there. That is so neat. It looks like it's in good condition from here. Let's take a look. Oh yeah, that's a beauty. Oh, you know what? It's got a daily driver. It actually had some dents and dings, which is neat because maybe the guy's just driving the car because it's a good car and fits his needs and he's not a total weirdo. Like, you know, someone like me that would buy one and then restore it. Probably a little bit weird driving like a 40-year-old station wagon that looks like it's made of wood. Alright, we made it to the blue pickup truck. Neat blue pickup truck. Now that we've got the drivability tuned down pretty good, we can really hear what this thing actually sounds like just chopping away at idle. And here it is. I'll stop talking. Wow, I think it sounds perfect. Yeah, no smoke, no nothing, engine burst like a kid. Knock on this step side bed. I think we're gonna be alright. We're gonna go do another oil change, look everything over, and we are off. We have to come up with something quickly for the intake. I have a bunch of parts on order. I want something welded up really nice eventually, but we're in a little bit of a bind for time, so we're gonna come up with something that is gonna involve a little bit of marker and cutting and drilling and silicone, and hopefully it turns out okay. These are just some miscellaneous pieces that I want. We need to incorporate our mass airflow sensor right in this area as well. Let's get to measuring it. We gotta start by cutting off this side that goes into the throttle body. We started 1.5 inches, but now we still more. For cutting, we're using a chop saw I bought like 12 years ago. But it's Chicago electric. Not really navigated in Chicago at all. gigantic throttle body that we have. But again, I think this is pretty much what I want. The only change really, I think this would be really cool in aluminum as well. This is actually really thick rubber that I used on a Trans Am project a while ago. It's not like your shiny silicone, but I cleaned it. We got a little mudslinger from Amsoil, and it basically makes it look silicone. This stuff is amazing at restoring faded trim. Check this out. Yeah, I mean, it's amazing, and it doesn't attract dirt. Look at the difference here. So we went from faded to that. You guys have seen me do this before, but if your engine bay is clean, you can like restore everything with mudslinger in like a few seconds. And seriously, it's not just a bunch of gooey, shiny stuff. It's meant to repel mud and dirt for like dirt bikes and four-wheelers and stuff. So it's the perfect product. And about 3 minutes later, our engine bay is fully restored. I'm just kidding, we still have these stickers to do. And I always take out battery stickers as well. Maybe we'll make that one. Bam! Much better. Took the handle off too. Second a little change. Here we go. Alright, here she is. About 60 miles or so, roughly. That's getting much clearer now. For our final oil change, we're using 1040 Amsoil, and this is the Z-Rod oil, which has extra zinc additive, which is great for anything like a classic car with flat tap lifters, but also if you do aftermarket camshafts, super high performance engines, that zinc is going to add a little bit more protection. So really like this on high horsepower applications that chop like the lightning. Oil change is done. Let's hit it. Oh yeah, man, do I miss this truck. I really should not have gone so long without it. This is going to be a good summer, people. Cruising on the highway, another Ford pickup truck right there. This is crazy. But hold on, you want to know what's crazier? Watch this boost gauge. It just immediately goes off the charts. I'm a little worried that we're going to be running too much boost at this point. I don't know. We'll find out on the dyno. I did bring the other crank pulley, which is a little bit smaller, but I don't know if that'll make a big difference. Hello. Alright, we're at the gas station down the street, and I'm gonna do it, guys. I'm gonna fill it up. I'm knocking out the truck. I shouldn't fill it up. I'm jinxing myself, but I really needed fuel, you know, here. But the truck is just running so good. So fingers crossed. Alright, that's it. About 20 gallons, but we had some in there, so about a 22-gallon tank, and I can use all the weight back here as possible. So this fuel should help the traction. Here we are, dyno 2 MP. Thanks to meet me out here. What up? She's alive. Thanks. Yeah, it's running good. Alright, she does. And it just looks familiar. You've watched the Hellcat series, it's because it's sort of the same place as the Terra. So it's there. Dyno 2 MP is there. And I say this a lot, but in the Chicagoland area, we're super lucky with some of the best speed shops in the country. These guys are very well known. You know, Mike for Mustangs and Cetera for anything Mopar. They're right here. We got Fluid Motor Union, we have AMS, Cannonball Garage. We got it all, except we have snow in high Texas. We're running into an issue where a lot of the adjustments Mike's making in the tune, they won't go in, so I'm going to the engine computer right now. Just take a look at it. It says a Diablo sticker. Like, I can't see in there very well. Just feel. And I ripped the sticker off. Oh, this. No way. It's an add-on chip. JohnnyLightningPerformance.com. Diablos. Look at that. Even as the Devil Horns. October 2002. Wow. This is awesome. This is some old school stuff. And that pretty much explains it. So only some of Mike's parameters were getting in the file, and this could have been blocking it. And this is just an add-on. This is a 2002. This is before like EEPROMs, like you guys have seen me work on with BD1 cars. But they, back in the day, this is kind of like how they tuned them. They had to add something to the computer. So me just moving it should just put the computer back to stock, and now we can, you know, tune it. So that just turned off. But yeah. All right. I think it'll work now, Mike. Sorry about that. It's Johnny Lightning's fault. This is going in the glove box as a souvenir. There you go. Yeah, one of the parameters that the tuner wouldn't accept was idle speed, so now we have that perfect at about 825. So now we can really hear what this thing is going to sound like just dropping away.
But hello.
Oh yeah, we got rid of all this surge and had a bunch of that, and that was literally just because of that add-on chip. We weren't able to change like a lot of stuff. All right, run number 1 is going to be a really quick one because we have no idea how much boost this is going to make, so he's going to give it a whack. Oh my gosh, this thing wants to take off. That's insane. got one.
Right. They're all lowriders. So think about a race car. So my 321 Coyote are brand new. Idled it, heat cycled it a couple of times, changed the oil, sucking on the dyno. 8,000 RPMs, 1,000.
Yeah.
No brake.
Right.
As soon as the boost hits the rings, push them out, seat on the cylinder wall. What else is there to brake?
Exactly.
Everything else is lowriders.
Yep.
So that's an old school turn on.
And I 100% agree with Mike. That's why I was varying the RPM, and then on even the ride to the dyno, I was just giving it those quick boost little hits there, sets the rings, you're done. With flat tappet, camshafts, and all that kind of stuff, there's a break-in, but when you have hydraulic everything, you know, you're pretty much good. I think 80 miles is A-okay. Man, our intercooler pump is working great. Look at the flow in there. I kind of forgot to check. Can we even see it? Yeah, we can see a little bit of the heat exchanger in there. First run! This thing is loud, it sounds good. Alright, we hit almost 500 wheel, 495, 17 pounds of boost though, that's a lot. And it's kind of more than I expected. We are on 93 octane. I haven't upgraded to E85 yet, which, you know, like Mike said, would add a lot with any boosted setup. So yeah, we're gonna have to run timing pretty low. And let's check out what the torque is. It's gotta be pretty good. 567 foot-pounds of torque. That's pretty good. Not bad for a first run. How was AFR and other stuff like that looking like?
Oh, actually, it's 11 and a half warm, nice and safe. I only had 9 degrees in it. We had the gas at like 3.5 degrees, low RPM, 3,000 RPMs. High RPMs, we had 94. I mean, it's a lot of boost for 9.5 warm.
Yeah, we gotta look up the piston.
They were around 14 degrees.
Yeah.
But typically 14 to 4 is kind of a...
And with no knock sensors, how do you really determine if it's safe or not? Yeah, with the old school, right? Yeah. We've done that here before. We did this on the Cobra that we dyno tuned with Mike, but with this, there are no knock sensors, so we have to pull plugs. So I just installed one new spark plug, and we're gonna cut the ignition right at the peak of a run. So you don't want it to idle at all, or it'll mess around with this. But let me show you. We're gonna be looking for lines, and the closer the line gets to the threads of the plug, means the more aggressive it is. So we want them around right after the bend, right here. That's where we want this to end. But you need one fresh plug to do this. But anyway, this plug looks really good.
Every bottle of McCormick is flavor sealed. For fresh flavor, everyone knows. Unlimited 1.5% cash back is just the beginning. With no annual fee, Chase Freedom Unlimited. How do you do cash back?
Surprisingly made more power on that short little run. 523 wheel. There was no tuning change, right?
Oh, that's that. Cool down the kiosks.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. 523. We're gaining power. I just let it cool off. We just pulled our fresh plug out, and the line we're looking at is kind of lined up with my nail right there. See how it's white up top, and then it gets clean right when it starts to get clean. That's the line, and we can be all the way down here and still be safe. Race cars will run this line all the way to the threads. That's on the ragged edge. We don't want that, but we could add quite a bit of timing, you know, 2 degrees, something like that, and we'll put another fresh plug in, add those degrees of timing, lean it out a little bit, and then pull the plug in again. And even if we had knock sensors, it's still really good to do this in. On most cars, it's easy to get to the plugs. This one, it's not, but we can get to this one closest to us pretty easily. So anyway, pretty cool to see that. We still got some room to go on the AFR. We just made another adjustment, 2 degrees of timing. We'll see what happens. We did check the plug after that one, and the line went a little bit further down, so we installed another new plug. Unfortunately, you got to put a new plug in every time or it's not perfectly clean. Shut it down so we can check the plug again. And if you guys are wondering why I'm not recording from the other side with the exhaust, it's because it will kill you. The amount of exhaust that is just bellowing out of this thing, it's not black or anything, it's not dirty, it's not bad. It's just so much. I don't think there's enough oxygen on that side of the truck, is what I'm trying to say. But we picked up about 20 foot-pounds of torque. Horsepower stayed about the same. Technically it went down, but we didn't put a lot of time in between those runs, so IATs were higher. It's probably
What's up, my guy? Is it on your tablet or is it on your Nintendo? Oh, did you send me the link? Huh? I don't know what you're asking me. If you didn't send me a link, how am I going to help you? Did you try to download it? What's it say? Oh, there you go. All right, okay. Buckets of Mel. What is this buckets of Mel? Let's see what this is. Melon sandbox. So it's a shoot 'em up game. No, it's not anatomy, man. It's shoot 'em up game. There's no anatomy going on with this thing. It doesn't say that. It says a simple sandbox game where you can create your own scenarios. Yeah, this isn't what you think it is, buddy. This is it's just no, we're not. That's what you sent me. You must have seen one thing and clicked something else, because that game. You want to get coins? I just gave you coins for the Minecraft. Yeah, I know it's not. I just gave you coins for Minecraft. And this game is $7, and you're just gonna download another game tomorrow. You call me every day to download games. Are you playing any of these games? You just download them. No, that's a whole new download, buddy. That's a whole different game. What you just sent me is a whole different game. You do know that, right? I'm telling you that. It's not an add-on. It's an actual game. morning, Mr. Bishop. How you doing today? Huh? Nice easy day today. Got about 5 hours left. Should make it from Wyoming to Iowa today. I got a little Starbucks this morning. That's what's up. I gotta take me a half-hour break so I can take a stroll, get out of this truck, get my legs stretched. about 3,600 miles. that's about right across Route 40.
That's all.
I've drove that many, many times. Starbucks has that good lemon cake. I love their lemon cake with a good cup of coffee. Take my coffee black, none of that extra stuff in it.